Hey all, this one's going to be a short one. It's my first debunk, though it might be kind of iffy to call it a debunk. There's a Viceroy Galvez who was Spanish, and he assisted the United States a lot during our revolution. Yeah, sorry Brits, but yeah. Anyway, the city of Galviston, Texas is named after him. He was actually governor of that region when Spanish held it. Anyway, he commissioned a portrait which now resides in a hotel named after him called the Grand Galvez in Galveston, Texas. The claims are that the portrait will not allow you to take pictures unless you ask nicely and verbally. The claims being that the picture will be out of focus, kind of mistiness on the picture, and even sometimes a skull-like figure. I plan on giving an explanation after I let you see the video making the claims. This is not a paranormal channel that is doing this. This is a channel that called Lightning Top. They have a tendency to produce more interesting archaeological finds, historical finds in forests, and artwork in forests. They'll describe, and they do short little segments for each one, generally about 15 to 20 minute video. And this particular thing is a segment of one of theirs that was a little different than what they normally do. This was one on cursed historical objects, or supposed cursed historical objects. I do think at the beginning they did use the term supposed cursed objects, but anyway, I'll let you see the video that they put out for the particular segment, and then I'll describe what it's really causing the issues that they're claiming, or at least what appears to be, from my photographic background. And one thing odd is that they have since then, actually kind of recently, moved the painting to a new location, with it being set up the way you normally would expect a portrait like that to be set. You'll see when I describe it later, or see it in the video, and when I describe it after the video, or after their segment, how poor the location was chosen in the first place. Anyway, let's get on with it and get them in here.
Ever since the painting was hung, guests at the hotel have complained that it makes them uneasy. The painting's eyes follow them down the hallway, and the air around the portrait is always cold. It's easy to write such things off as paranoia or the mind playing tricks, but this story gets weirder. When you take a picture of the painting, it's always out of focus. In some pictures, there's even a misty background to the image that isn't visible to the naked eye. Apparently, the only way to get a clear photo of the portrait is to ask Bernardo for permission to take his picture first.
Okay, now that I'm back, let's deal with the eyes first. There's so many paintings, statues, and it's just a bit of a cliche that the eyes will follow you wherever you go. It's just perspective. Wherever the painting, if the eyes are painted into the correct position in a face, it'll appear they follow you. mainly because you'll be able to see them at any angle kind of clearly, instead of like the rest of the face might get a little bit, how to say it, out of perspective. Easier way to say that, I guess, would be it gets kind of misshapen a little bit. Like the farther side of the face from wherever you're standing will look a little bit smaller than the side closest to you. Like I said, if the eyes are in the right position, that won't occur with the eyes. It makes it seem like it's following you. At least that's always the explanation I've heard about it. Okay, next. The focus issue. This is an oil painting, and while you couldn't really see it that well at the so-called dedication ceremony, or rededication ceremony, I guess it's supposed to have been, where they had the painting, there were two lights on either side of it that stuck out about 3 inches away from the wall, farther than the painting. The painting is an oil painting, which means it has a slightly glossy texture. Hey, boo. Anyway, hey, excuse me a minute, guys. Come on, boo. Daddy needs to work. Anyway, with the glossy texture and the lights on the side sticking out, this would have created a slight glare. Most likely not enough to be noticed by the eyes unless you were in exactly the right position. However, the camera, as any photographer could tell you, is a little more sensitive to glare than the human eye. There's some speculation that part of it is the brain itself, that, the brain knows what it's supposed to be seeing, so it kind of cancels out a very slight glare. If the eyes even pick it up. But anyway, so the camera is going to have trouble focusing with the glare. That'll give you the focus issue. That would also account for the, quote, misty background, because the darker areas would, the glare, if it's not quite enough to mess with the focus, then the easier places to see the glare would be on the darker background, which would give you a kind of a misty appearance. Okay, one other thing, which is not in that portion of the segment, is there's some claims of sometimes seeing a skull in the in the photograph. I'll go over that here in a little bit. I do have a picture. I could only find one where there was a claim of the skull, and I'll put the picture up and explain that one too here in a minute. And like I said, after that, I'll place one other picture straight from the Grand Galvez Hotel's website, showing the new location of the picture, which should negate all the issues people were having before with trying to take pictures, or at least most of them. It may not eliminate the skull issue, but you'll see why in a minute. Anyway, onto the picture. Okay, as you can see here, this is the portrait and its location before. The lights I mentioned stick out from the wallways. Anyway, you might be able to see it a little bit, looking like a skull, but I have a slightly larger image here. Let me see if I can bring it in. Okay. Now, I think you can see it much more clearly now. And it kind of looks like a skull. It's basically pareidolia. The cause of this is there's a reason why these lights appear so dim, this one, whereas in the video they were so bright. They used a flash on the camera and had the camera's shutter speed set for their flash. This is probably glare from the flash. Anyway, that's pretty much it on as far as the skull. Now, let me go ahead and bring in the last picture. Of where the painting is now. Okay, I'm not sure why I'm not showing up. But anyway, as you can see, they've kind of moved the painting to a new area with more proper lighting for an artwork. You can see the light above it shining down on the frame in the picture. That should eliminate the focus and glare or mist glare issue. Depending on how bright that light actually is, it might even eliminate the skull issue. Anyway, that's all I have for now. And let me see if I can bring this. Bring myself back into frame here. Anyway, may notice I'm a little lower. And it's a little darker. Someone turned the light out. I was on my knees in front of the desk because Boo, who you saw me pick up earlier, has decided that my chair is his bed. Since I only had a short segment to do, I went ahead and left him there. Anyway, y'all be good, okay?